Hey everybody, just got out of Beauty and the Beast, and the question is, no, this did not need to be remade. The 1991 classic is a classic for a reason, and honestly, it's one of the best Disney movies ever made, and some could argue evenly the best. So, this movie had a lot to stand up to, and had a lot of ground to make up if they really wanted to do something great and spectacular, and this movie is a pinnacle of a mixed bag. In one regard, it's actually really good. It's the 1991 film brought to life. The songs are there with little additions to them. Most of them pretty good. Gaston's songs are always round money. Belle's songs are very nice, and they do actually work into why there's a bit of music involved. And some of the iconic scenes are still there. And even some of the more iconic lines. But for all the good I can say about this movie, and it is good, but comparatively, this didn't need to happen. And if you've seen the original 1991, which not even the original, you're automatically playing in the back of your mind, I've seen this. I've seen this done phenomenally. So when it doesn't meet those expectations, even an amazing shot can't beat perfection. And some of the additions, really good. They've added a lot to the side characters. You feel a lot more for Lumiere and Popette, the feather duster. There's a little bit of a thing with them in the animated movie, but it gets brought more into light in this. And they answer a lot of questions. However, by answering those questions, it makes this movie horrible. They've over-explained it, and it's the same problem they had with Cinderella. They're trying to make these, and I quote, progressive, in the sense that they want these to be the new wave. I don't know what else to say, but like the new wave movie should be. The old stereotypes get thrown out the window. And you know what? In your attempts to make them better, you've made them worse. Emma Watson has two performances in this movie. The first half, new progressive Belle, who they do nothing with. They set up this character who acts way different from Belle from the original, and then halfway through she starts acting like the Belle we all know and love. Now you can say a lot about Belle from the original animated. The whole Stockholm Syndrome thing and all that stuff. I just roll my eyes whenever I hear that. But for all the bad and good you could say, Belle still was human, and she saw beauty in everything, and she wanted something more than what she had at the moment. And you didn't need much more than that. Lily, her opening song, you get what she wants. She just wants adventure. She wants something new. Something she can't actually put her finger on. And in this one, they make her, at least in the first half, I mean, it was always implied that Belle was kind of snobbish to the other townsfolk in the beginning, but this is just right out. She's a straight up bitch to people. Literally, will not give most people the time of day. Very snooty, very pretentious, very higher than thou because she's a female who can read. And this takes place, I'm guessing after the French Revolution, maybe? Based upon certain stuff that happens within it. And it's very jarring seeing really one of the best Disney princesses, who's not even a princess, just brought down to this. And it makes no sense. They try to explain in the beginning that her father taught her all these little tricks, but she's making a washing machine. A washing machine. In the 1700s. Or you could even say 1800s at this point. It still makes no sense. And there's a couple of things in here that really bug the crud out of me. But I want to be fair. Some of the stuff is good. Some of the new stuff actually adds on. And I kind of wish it was almost add on in the animated film so I wouldn't have to see it here. And some of the changes are actually good, which goes to the add-ons. After Belle leaves, the Beast has a solo number. Now, the Beast from the original would make no sense. He's pretty much rage personified. He's just mad and angry. And this one, they've played him more as human. So when he actually has emotions, it feels a bit more real. You see the man behind the Beast and not just the Beast itself. And they try to wave off how he's this way because apparently his father was a jerk. Something. It's supposed to tie into Belle's mom who gets killed by the plague. Yeah, that happens. I would give spoiler warning at this point, but literally, if you've seen the 1991 movie, you've seen this movie. I mean, nothing's going to change. Gaston isn't going to hold hands with Beast at the end and sing Kumbaya, which I'll get to that moment in a second. It's just mixed feelings with this movie is the best way. And people applaud at the end of this movie. And you know what? I gave it a good golf clap. It was warranted of a good golf clap. I mean, if the 1991 movie didn't exist, I would think this would be honestly spectacular. But since this is literally based off of that movie, you can't detach yourself from that. You can't. And in their attempts to answer the problems, they've created more. So, they basically created the problem where the Enchantress comes in and she enchants everybody. And how no one remembers the Beast is there, she wipes the memory of everybody in the city. Which kind of makes sense, I guess. Wipe the memory so people don't know. And maybe it's forgotten to time. Maybe it's just... And you don't know how long he could have been there. This could have taken place in the 1700s, and maybe by the 1800s somebody stumbles across it. There's a lot that you can do with this. No, instead she wipes their memories of people who actually know people in that freaking castle. We do discover what happened to Mr. Potts. You want to know what happened to him? Oh, while his wife and son got turned into pieces of dishware, he was stuck in a town with no memory of them. And then in the end, they get brought back together and they're happy. The Enchantress is an upright bitch, and I don't care if anyone's upset with me swearing, she is. She openly ruined the lives of everybody to get back at one prince, who he's not a kid in this one, thankfully. They kind of address the fact he doesn't really age from this. So he's still about, age-wise, I guess maybe 20, 21. So technically 31, but it still looks like a 21-year-old, so you can say 21. But to ruin the lives of all these people just to get back at one guy? And make no mistake, the servants pay more than him. They've modified the spell. The spell basically states that once the last petal falls, the beast will forever remain a beast. Makes sense, right? And that the servants will remain the cookware, basically all your furniture and stuff. And that's what it was in the original. But now, here's the catch. They're losing their souls. They are literally dying when the last petal falls. They literally become the objects and die. I'm sorry, Miss Madam Good Fairy. Who put you in charge of judge, jury, and executioner for a whole bunch of people who did nothing? Seriously. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't entirely off of the idea in the beginning. But as time goes on and you realize, yeah, this is kind of messed up. And it's stuff like that that just kind of takes you out of the movie. It makes you stop and think and go, why? Why would you do this? And I know fairy tale. It's supposed to be the moral. And in the end, good triumphs and all that stuff, and everybody remembers, and everyone's reunited with their love, and it's all nice. But the fact of the matter is, that might not have happened. She doesn't know everything, because they don't make a point of it. Oh, but let's add some other magical BS into this movie that could have solved the entire last act. In the movie, there's a book where if you put your hand on it and think really hard, you can transport yourself anywhere. And I do mean anywhere. So when the angry mob gets to the front door, the beast could have put his hand on it and just imagine himself, I don't know, in the village with Belle. Or somewhere else. It makes no sense. And you think the book would mean something. No, it's just a plot device for Belle to get her baby rattled from her mom, who she now realizes had the plague, and that's why she died. But like I said, for all the nitpicking, there is some good in it. The Beast is well animated. The shots are really good. So there's that. And the guy who plays Gaston, Luke Evans, I believe, does an amazing job. And honestly, for the first, I would say, up until the turning point where he becomes a complete villain, he's just a former war hero who's living the high life, basically. He's always had what he's wanted. He remembers war, and that's affected him to a point where, he is what he is. And there's a lot you can go in with that. And I guess to address the controversy, LeFou being gay, yeah, he's gay. Like, it's pretty apparent in the movie. And they do nothing different with it. So anyone who's concerned about it, yeah, don't worry about it. It's literally just, he acts the same way he did in the movie, just a little more, I guess you could say, flamboyant, protective of Gaston. That's really about it. Yeah. But is this worth seeing in theaters? That's the big question. Because if you can take your mind out of the original 1991, there is something to be watched here. The stuff looks amazing. It was literally watching what would be a set production play on the big screen, which I've seen before with Les Miserables, when they did Fathom Event or something like that. I can't remember when. So it can look good on the big screen, but it's just so jarring in the beginning, and it feels so weird. But once it gets in its groove, it feels really good, and all the songs we know and love are there. It was nice just to go back to a time, in this case 1991, when you saw it on the big screen, or in my case, saw it on VHS. So I guess you could go see it. You're not really missing much out. You could watch this at home and get the same feel. Netflix, Redbox, I would highly recommend those. You got a guy staring me right in the headlights, probably thinks I'm crazy, but so yeah. So Beauty and the Beast, out of the 3 movies I've seen so far in March, honestly is probably the weakest, which is sad considering it was against Kong and Logan, which Beauty and the Beast should be in the higher echelon. It should be one of the best. Especially when they actually borrowed a lot more from the original play in the beginning. Based off of the original Grimm's Tale, he's not just rage, he actually is a human being underneath it. He just looks monstrous. So there is good, but unfortunately it cannot outweigh what I've seen. If you want to go see it, go ahead. If you can take that little bit of your brain out and stop relating to the 1991, you'll probably enjoy it. It is an enjoyable watch. So yeah, Beauty and the Beast, mixed review. It's going to be up to your personal opinion. If you can take it out, you're good. However, I will not be able to do that for next week, because next week is the infamous Power Rangers movie, which I will be seeing that. Maybe with some backup, maybe not. But man, this is going to be a tough one. The new trailer does not give me any hope. What I've read does not make me feel good. And we may be looking at another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or Transformers franchise here. So, who knows? Maybe it'll be the first 90s... Well, yeah, 90s. 90s franchise to make an actual decent reboot movie. Well, until then, I'm Kevin Riley signing off. And have a good one.